I'm here at the Lowry Theatre in Manchester with Gary Lightbody. Hi, Gary.
Hello.
Firstly, congratulations. I can't believe it's been 20 years since Song for Polar Bears came out.
Yeah, 20 years. 20 next year will be 25 years since I started the band.
Wow.
It's pretty insane, actually.
Do you feel like the elder statesman of music now? Do you feel like you can go, when you play festivals, you go and put your arm around the young bucks and say, this is the way you do it?
This is the way you do it? No, they know more than I do. Everyone coming up now knows how to, knows way more than I do, sort of almost immediately. It seems everybody's kind of fully formed now. It took us so long, 10 years it took us to have a hit. Right. And in that time, from 94 to 2004, we made every mistake under the sun. So we are sort of galvanized by fire, but it seems that you just don't have that. You're kind of not allowed that time anymore. You know what I mean? You kind of have to come with everything in your locker. So there's not really much advice I can give anybody these days. Nobody listens anyway.
In that 10-year period, isn't that the truth? In that 10-year period that you had, where you were waiting for that first hit. Now, I was watching the trailer for Coldplay's new documentary the other day.
I saw the trailer as well. I can't wait to see the
incredible footage that they got from the beginning of the band.
We don't have any footage.
Yeah. Well, what struck me was that the beginning of that journey for them, there was this overwhelming belief from Chris Martin and the rest of the bands that they were going to be massive. It didn't matter what happened, they were going to be a massive band.
Yeah.
Did you have the same thing with Snow Patrol? And if that was the case, that 10-year period where you were waiting for that hit must have been an incredibly frustrating thing.
I think when I was 18, I started the band when I was 18, I think when I was 18 I thought we were going to be famous next week, easy peasy. And then when that didn't happen, maybe a month will do it. And then, the years went by and I just over time just thought it maybe wasn't my destiny. But I think that the gift that gave all of us was that you're to keep the band going when you're not successful is you're doing it for the right reason.
Yeah.
So in those 10 years sleeping in the back of a shitty beat up van or on the friends' floors, we would ask the audience, 30 or 40 people that would come and see us play, if we could, in whatever city we were in, if we could sleep on somebody's living room, just on the floor, and somebody in the audience would always come up after the show and say, "Come on, Ryan," and you made a lot of people that way. But it was far from glamorous, and we just figured that was going to be our lot.
It's really interesting you make that comparison between going to gigs and asking people if you can sleep on their sofas, because I remember chatting to Ed Sheeran years and years ago.
That's what he did, yeah.
He said exactly the same thing, almost with the same phrasing, and obviously Ed supported you back in the day. And
I just heard him say it and I just repeated it.
Well, do you think when he was supporting you, do you think maybe you instilled that graft onto him? Can you take credit for Ed Sheeran's career?
No, absolutely, 100% no. Ed was fully formed. Ed was going to London when he was 15 and sleeping on people's floors and going up to venues and asking them if he could go on first, whatever band was playing, like when the doors opened. Just let me go on for 15 minutes when the doors opened. And he was busking and he was basically grafting every day to try and get his music heard. There is always people involved in a success, of course there is. But of anybody that I know, if there's one person responsible for their success, it's him. It's his hard work. He's never stopped. Still doesn't. Still works every day. Even when he's playing a gig, he'll be in the studio during the day. He'll bring a studio on tour with him and be working all day, and then he'll go on stage. That's how you become successful. You know what I mean? If you really want it, that's what's
not overnight. All those people are watching X Factor and go on there and get hit singles the next day.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think that because Ed had a success on his first album, even that it was an overnight success? And it really wasn't. It was 3 or 4 years of really, really hard work. And it's somebody you can be. As a musician. Him and I are friends, of course, but even sort of stepping back from a friendship and just as a musician, you can respect and admire that. Even if I didn't love the music, which I do, you have to respect a musician like that writes all his own songs, grafts as hard as he does, works every day, doesn't take anything for granted, and is kept level-headed as well.
back to your music, because obviously you've got a brand new album out. 7 years is a long old hiatus.
Speaking of graft.
What's it feel like to be back in doing it after 7 years kind of away from it and away from making music? I'm sure you never stopped making music in that 7 years.
No.
To actually kind of be thrust back into what you've always loved doing, what's that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, we were all working on various things, and it was all within kind of a musical sort of framework. But you know, Snow Patrol's always going to be the mothership. You know, we wanted to get back to it. You know, and it was just a matter of trying to write the songs, and I just didn't know what to write about. It took me a long, long time to figure that out.